Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you're here. It is now August, which means we have officially made it through my sprint month. I wanted to do a quick little wrap-up video talking about the experience, how I felt, and just some reflections in case you haven't already watched my TikTok video on it. Let's just dive right in, starting with goal number 1, which was marathon training. This was the most successful goal out of the 3 that I set for myself. I felt very, very proud. I felt very strong this entire month with my marathon training. Basically, my goal was to make sure I didn't skip any of my runs, not skip any of my strength training workouts, and then also focus in on my nutrition, make sure that I'm fueling my body properly because that's also such an important part of the training. I did only miss one strength training workout, but it was a day that I had to go into the office. I didn't wake up that morning because I was so exhausted, so I was gonna have to do my workout after work. But when I got back, it was already 7 p.m. I hadn't eaten dinner yet. I was just feeling so exhausted that I could not get myself to go to the gym and decided to let my body have the rest that it needed. And I think in the long term, that was a good decision. But other than that, I did every single one of my runs, including a few speed workouts, a hill workout, some tempo runs. Like, there was a huge mix of runs within this training program this month, and I successfully completed all of them. And I just felt so strong throughout. The marathon is not until November, so I am not done training yet. There is still about 3 months to go, so we're a long ways out. But I feel really good, really strong with this month that I was able to build a strong base for. Moving on to goal number 2, that goal was to work on my novel, and I set a pretty ambitious goal for this one. I wanted to write 3 times a week minimum for at least an hour each session, and in my head I was trying to reach 40,000 words in my novel to get me to about the halfway point, and I was starting at only around 10,000 words, which meant I would have had to write 30,000 words this month. Unfortunately, I did not succeed with this. The first 2 weeks I felt really strong, and I did sit down and write 3 times a week for 1 hour. I didn't have super high word counts, but there were a couple of strong days where I did feel really good about the novel. I felt really good about the characters, the plot. The words were flowing out of me. But by the 3rd week, I was starting to get so exhausted, and sitting down to write was one of the last things that I wanted to do. And I typically like to do a lot of my writing on weekends, but in July, I just was so busy every single weekend. I barely had a moment to myself, so I didn't even have the time to just sit down and crank out a ton of words. In total, I only wrote 4,445 words, so I definitely did not hit my goal of another 30,000 words. But I will say this is the most that I've written since February. I think in February I did write around 7,000 words, which is incredible. But since then, I've only written a couple hundred words total throughout all the months. So the fact that I was able to write nearly 5,000 words is an accomplishment to me. But more importantly than that, I built up that consistent habit of writing at least 3 times a week, which is something that I definitely want to continue into August and throughout the rest of the year, because I do still want to finish this novel by the end of the year. And I think in the fall time, things will slow down a little bit more for me, and I'll have more time to dedicate to writing. And then the final goal for this month was No by July, which I will say I do think was very successful. I set a couple of exceptions for myself at the beginning of the month, which I was allowed to spend money on, like things like my nails or a gift for my friend. So those things I did spend money on, but aside from those, there was barely anything else that I spent money on that I shouldn't have. There was one day where I caved and I ordered takeout. It was that same day where I skipped my strength training workout because I didn't get home until 7 p.m. I thought I was going to get dinner with a friend that day, which was part of my exceptions. I was allowed to get dinner with a friend once a week, but I ended up not getting that dinner with her because it got rescheduled, so I wasn't planning on cooking a dinner for myself that day, so I allowed myself to just buy the takeout and rest and come home and sleep because that's what I needed. But it was only $10 and I went and I picked it up. I didn't order like the delivery from Uber Eats or anything, so it could have been worse. And then I went almost the entire month without buying coffee, which was one of the rules, no coffee out. I had to make all of my coffee at home. However, on the 30th of the month, so with just those 2 days left, I did buy a coffee because my sister and I were going to a concert and we were going to be up late, and I knew I needed the extra caffeine. I should have made the coffee at home, but I was staying at my parents and we had run out and they don't have an espresso machine or a coffee maker, so that was kind of my fault for not preparing in advance for it, but I needed that coffee that day. And then on the last day of the month, I did do a little bit of shopping. One of the items that I bought was this painting that you see right behind me. And then I bought a shirt from Depop, which is actually coming in today and I'm very excited about. But those are two purchases that were somewhat impulse, but like this painting is so beautiful and it was fairly inexpensive. It was around $60 for such a gorgeous frame. The painting's so nice. I love it. I think it fits my space so well and it's something that I've been looking for. I love looking at art. And then the shirt on Depop was also not fully a impulse purchase. I really did sit with it and think about it, and I was able to make an offer on it and the seller accepted it. So I just figured I should bite the bullet because it was meant to be, because there have been many things on Depop that I avoided buying this month because I knew I was doing this no buy. So I did let myself just get this one item. So overall, I think that I was successful with 2 out of the 3 goals. Were they all perfect? No, but I don't think that's the point of a sprint month. I actually think that the point is to aim really high, and even if you don't reach that high goal that you set for yourself, you've probably gotten really close or still made more progress than you would have if you weren't doing this challenge. So that being said, I would definitely do a sprint month again. I think that this period of time, this time frame was the perfect amount. It's not too long, it's not too short, it's just right where like you're not going to lose motivation and you're not going to get bored, but you can still get a lot done within 30 days. My caveat to that is that I would not do 3 goals again. I think that was very ambitious of me, and that's why I failed the writing, because if I'm already doing marathon training and I know that's something that's going to take a lot of energy out of me, I shouldn't have also expected myself to be writing 30,000 words in a month. It certainly was not impossible, but I should have known myself a little bit better, and I think that just focusing on 2 goals like marathon training and No by July, which are completely different goals and don't really interfere with each other, or my energy levels, would have been much more doable and I would have been far more successful. I also would not do 2 sprint months back to back. I think you need a period to just like rest and relax after that and not have any pressure on yourself. So I'm not doing another one for August, but I think I will do another one in September or October in the fall time when, like I said, things are going to slow down a little bit more for me. So let me know if you want to see another video and maybe more like weekly vlogs of how I'm doing versus just the intro and rules and then the wrap-up videos. That is all for me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know if you've ever done a sprint month and what some of your goals were, because I think that it's so interesting to hear about. Everyone has such different ways that they use this time, and let me know again if you want to see more videos like this, because I'll definitely do it the next time that I do another sprint month. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.